What's going on, everybody? It's Steve. We're here with the Season 15 Draft Review. Let's get into it. So we had the Daddy Plan. If you aren't familiar, anything played by one coach 4 times or more in the previous season was banned. Anything played by 2 coaches 6 times or more was banned. We had 110 points to draft 11 Mons. And for my strategy this time, I wanted to pick a team where they're all taller than me. I am 183 centimeters tall, it says so on my driver's license. However, Pokemon are only in the 10th column, so 1.8, 1.9, etc. So I can only pick 1.9 meters and up. In the draft order pick, I picked 8th pick so that there were minimum breaks between picks. My draft board is very small, much like with my mono flying type team. This would give me a higher likelihood I would get what I want. Here is my draft board. There are 36 Pokemon in here. And by the time it got to me, I'd already lost Garganacl and Titan. A little bit of analysis here. Water types, we've only got Inteleon for Alligator and Veluza. Trick Rooms, there's just Dusknoir and a bunch of grass types, Toedscruel, Executors. There's a single steel type in Caparajah. There's a lot of grass types. There's one Fake Out in Hariyama. Not much Tailwind, I believe it's just Yanmega and Tropius and Dunsparce. Oh, Flygon as well. Speaking of Flygon, there's only 2 good dragons. There's also Dragonair at the bottom. Intimidate is only Arbok. And we've got some good combos there. We got a snow mode of Abomasnow and Beartic, so Titan's already gone. But yeah, it's a tough board to draft from. So from here I wanted one of those limited options, and I went with Hariyama, who is 7'6", which is as tall as Yao Ming. It's the only Fake Out on my board. It's got good damage boosting abilities in Guts with a Flame Orb or Sheer Force. The damage reduction ability in Thick Fat if I do face the Snow team, that might be good. Very bulky with that 144 HP. It's got 120 attack. 50 speed is good enough for Trick Room with all the good Trick Room mons gone, really. And it may not come up because a lot of good mons are gone, but it does have Wide Guard as well. Going to round 2, from here anything pink was removed from the board previously. Anything red was removed before I could pick this round. So I lost Inteleon, Abomasnow, Blaziken, Espathra, and Torterra before I could pick. Wasn't actually going to pick any of these. This pick was either between Serperior and Dusknoir. Dusknoir gives me my only non-grass type Trick Room. Serperior is a good Fastmon with Scaling and with Glare, but I decided to go with Dusknoir. 7'3", same size as Victor Wembanyama. As I said, the only non-grass type Trick Room setter that I had. It's very bulky, it's got a good attack stat, good coverage, good support, Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, etc. It's got Frisk, it's got Memento, I can Suicide him with the last season's thing, and it's a good duo with Hariyama. Unfake-outable Trick Room, well, I've got Fake Out, and then we both go to town. And I can Sideburn my Hariyama because Dusknoir is slower. Going into round 3, I lost Serperior, which was going to be my next pick. Also lost Venusaur and Flygon, didn't really consider either of them yet. Venusaur's really only good on Sun. I decided to get one of my other limited resources in Feraligatr. Feraligatr is 7'6", the same size as Sean Bradley. And one of only 2 water types, as I mentioned. It's got Sheer Force, much like Hariyama, for increased damage. Could set up with Dragon Dance with a Fake Out support. Could be an Icy Wind Mon to get me going faster. It's got pretty good coverage too. And a lot of ways to use that Sheer Force. And it's pretty bulky with 8,583. Now my board starts getting picked apart. Before round 4, I was going to pick Yanmega this round. I lost Caparajah, Yanmega, Beartic, Dunsparce, and Toedscruel, which is pretty brutal. So I looked at what I had left. There's like nothing fast on this board. So I was like, F it. We're going Trick Room. We're getting Alolan Exeggutor. It is 35 foot 9 inches, which is taller than Steven Adams, Bam Adebayo, Jared Allen, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic stacked on top of each other. It's the only reliable dragon type on the board. It's got pretty good stats, fairly bulky, really good special attacking stat, which is pretty hard to get. Gives me another Trick Room setter and another Frisk. There's a lot of redundancy between Dusknoir and Executor, but that attacking stat and the typing really sets it apart. So from here, I realized if I wanted... Oh, I got rid of Executor because of drafting rules. I can't draft both Executors. So if I wanted to actually spend a good amount of points, I basically needed Colossal and Rhydon. Now, I lost Rhydon this round. And I guess it's still possible if I get Colossal, Sandaconda, Passimian, Camerupt, and Sawsbuck, but there's so much overlap. But this round, I went with Colossal. It's 9'2", about as tall as Anthony Davis standing on a desk. It is the third fastest mon in the format, faster than Chlorophyll Jumpluff, but slower than Unburden, Sceptile, and Hawlucha. Fire types are pretty hard to get, so I'm surprised this lasted this long. It's really good bulk, can attack on both stats. 30 base speed if I don't want Steam Engine. I could use Flash Fire because I will eventually have some fire weaknesses. It's a good pair with Feraligatr. I can use Aqua Jet or Surf to activate that Steam Engine. And yeah, this thing is hopefully going to be a monster. When it came back to me, nothing else was gone. So I grabbed Sandaconda. It's 12 foot 5 inches, which is Steph Curry stacked on top of Steph Curry. It's also, at this point, the only mon I've drafted 3 times. All Tailwind is gone from my board except for Tropius, so I got Glare. Why not? Also gives me Coil set up with Fake Out. I can use Sandspit to counter the weather. Will probably require some Terras. And as of right now, people are going to bring a lot of Will-O-Wisps against me, so Shedskin covers for that a little bit. But again, another bulky mon, good attack stat, and usable speed in either direction. Came back to me again, and nothing else had gone. However, the max points I can get is 26. I have 31 left, and that is with Passimian, Stonjourner, Sawsbuck, and Camerupt, which are all duplicate types, except for normal on Sawsbuck, and I really did consider Sawsbuck. But when I lost Rhydon, I was like, nah, I'm not going to go with only tall mons, so I added anything that weighed more than me, which currently is 185 pounds. Most of these were tall already, or they were taken. Some examples of things I could take now are Cloyster, Palisand, Ice-Cube, Bastiodon, Donphan, Oinkologne. I also remembered that Pokemon can be plus or minus 20% of their max of their height. So if you're listed at 1.6, you can go up to 1.9 meters tall. And 1.7 obviously above that too. So that added 31 more total mons, 19 of which were already taken. So I could now draft Dratini, Meganium, Ursaring, Golduck, Victreebel, Golem, Alola, Dugong, Swalot, Gogoat, Haunter, Hypno, and Noctowl. So using the weight restriction now, I grabbed Cryogonal, which for some reason weighs 326 pounds, as much as a fridge, and maybe that's why it weighs that much. It is a fast ice type that will allow me to enable the fast mode better. Levitate pairs well with Sandaconda. After a single Icy Wind, I can just spam Earthquakes against most teams. It's very specially bulky, and it's good fire bait for Colossal, and a good fighting bait for Dusknoir. So it gives me some good switch-in potential on this team. From there, I grabbed Tauros. This is a built-in combo with Cryogonal because it's got Anger Point, and Cryogonal has Frost Breath to give me that +6 attack. This is also the fastest Tauros form, and will be one of the fastest mons in the format. It weighs 194.9 pounds, which is actually the size of a bobcat, not a bull. It's a third Sheer Force attacker, and it gives me Intimidate, so I don't have to pick Arbok. And it's got really good coverage. From there, I grabbed Forretress, weighs 277 pounds, which is about as much as an oven, which is ironic, because it gets cooked. This is also a third-time draftee with Sandaconda. It's my only steel and my only bug type available, other than Q-Fant. Gives me Explosion. 90 is a pretty good stat. Iron Defense Body Press. As I showed with Golem last season, I'm not afraid to go really fast with my sturdy mons either, so 40 speed, could do fast, could do slow. More fire bait for Colossal as well. Then we got Veluza back on the actual height board. It's 8 foot 2 inches, as tall as Shaq standing on a milk crate. It gives me Final Gambit, so I can do Scarf Final Gambit in the Trick Room like I was trying to do last season against Jordan. More damage boosting abilities with Sharpness. It's got decent attack stat, decent bulk, weird speed. But with that Fake Out, I can set up full AOA with a Citrus Berry or even just a damage booster and hopefully go to town. I don't have high hopes for this. It's probably just going to be a Final Gambit bot. But we'll see. Lower power level, anything's possible. And then rounded that out with Noctowl the Great. This is a 1.6 meter increase to 1.92 with the damage, the height boost. If you catch one of these in game, it gives you the Great tag for being so big. That's as tall as Donovan Mitchell, the Cleveland Cavaliers star point guard. Can you imagine being hunted by a flying apex predator that is 6 foot 3 inches tall? That would be absolutely terrifying. It gives me another normal type for ghosts with Tauros. It gives me Tailwind, which I didn't have before, and lots of good support moves like Feather Dance and Hypnosis. Tinted Lens Skill Swap. We want Tinted Lens Close Combat on Hariyama? Heck yeah. Tinted Lens Poltergeist? Oh baby. Tinted Lens Leaf Storm Executor? But I can also just spam Hurricane. It also has Moonblast, so this is a real fairy type with Terra Fairy. Nothing else on the board got picked other than Camerupt, so that's the final look at my board. Not terribly surprised at anything that didn't go, maybe Stonjourner and Avalug. The rest of them, and Tropius, pretty useful. The rest of them are pretty garbage. General notes, first time I had to cheat on my own draft restriction to actually fill out my board. The stat spreads here, on the left is my current team, on the right is my team last season with a full draft board. I have way higher average HP, defense, and special defense, higher attack, and slightly lower special attack, because I don't really only have 3 good special attackers, and then also Noctowl. I will not be facing a lot of Intimidate. I think there's only 2 teams that have it in my division, but I think they all have Will-O-Wisp. Fun thing is that I still have a lot of Suicide Mons with Explosion, Cryogonal, Colossal, and Fortress. I got Final Gambit Veluza, and I got Memento Dusknoir. So kind of continuing the trend of last season. And I've got some good speed spreads with a little bit of clumping around 70 and 40, but that is fine. That's my thoughts on the draft. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.